So today, there doesn't need to be as much instruction because really when it comes to multiplying with fractions, the trickiest thing happens when we start mixing in whole numbers. And so next week, get ready for having to do a bit more work. But today, you're still practicing taking a fraction of a fraction. So I would like you to do today page 741. And for this one, I want you to be able to check it. So start out, do page 741, pause this video. I am going to be putting the answers right up here so that you can see it real quickly. Before you resume, double check yourself. Did you simplify? Did you multiply straight across? Because we're not adding, we're not subtracting, so we don't need common denominators. We just need a denominator because the pieces are getting smaller. All right, having checked for that, here is what the book shows you that you should have gotten. So it might take a little bit for you to check this. Pause the video and check this. I'll hold it up here for a little while longer. So pause. Check these answers. Okay, I'm about to go on, so you'll have to make sure you have those figured out. The next thing that I need you to do is page 744. I want to show you something here because you've probably noticed that it can get very difficult when you have to simplify these. And so there is a step that you'll do more with in 6th grade, but I want to give you a chance to practice it today. It's called cross simplifying. This is on page 744. So turn there. Cross simplifying. What that means is if you are multiplying these two fractions, you can rewrite them like this right next to each other. And then when you look, you can see that 5 is a factor of both of these. You could divide by 5 at the end, but you might as well just take the 5 out now, leaving you with only a 4 and a 6 on top. Why does that work? Well, because it's the same as dividing by 5. If you were to solve the problem, you would have gotten 20 out of 30. In order to simplify 20 out of 30, you can divide top and bottom by 5, and you end up with 4/6. Instead of doing all that stuff, if you recognize 5 is a common factor, same thing as dividing by 1 whole, and you still end up with the 4/6 without having to do these steps. Then you recognize 4/6 are both even, divide top and bottom by 2, and you end up with your final answer of 2/3. So the idea of cross simplifying, you're going to practice that a bit in the online part today. Let me go back and look at the page that you just did, 741, and see if we can cross simplify there. We sure can. It doesn't just work if you see the same number. You can take out the 5s and end up with 3/6, but you can go one step further. If you divide top and bottom by 3, this turns into a 1/2, and what do you know? That's your final answer. This one, I don't have anything that's exactly the same across from it, but here 3 is a factor of 3 and it's a factor of 12. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 4 is 12. I have taken out 3/3. My answer is 5/16. See how much easier that makes it? What about this? Can I do my 9 and my 3? No, because they're not across from each other. In fact, if you multiplied this right away, you did not have to simplify anything because there was not a common factor. What about number 10? Oh, sure. There's a 5 on top and a 5 on bottom, and I'm multiplying. I can just say this is 3/7. This only works when you are multiplying. Don't try to do this when you are adding. So do a little bit of the online practice. It's not a big deal if you don't see this. It always works to multiply straight across and then simplify. But if you can see instead before you multiply, if you can see that 2 is a common factor and then you multiply right away, you can skip the simplifying step at the end. So make sure that you do the online practice. You don't need to send me any graded assignment today, but I do want you to practice this idea of cross simplification, because if you get it, it will make it so much easier when you are dealing with mixed numbers. So go ahead to the online practice now.